In a world where strength defines destiny, one young man dares to dream differently. Meet Noel, a youth determined to surpass his legendary grandfather. But when he's labeled as the weakest talker class, he faces scorn instead of support. Undeterred, he vows to build the strongest clan and claim his title as the ultimate seeker no matter the cost. Will he rise as a feared master, or be consumed by the darkness of his ambition? Discover the gripping journey of the most notorious talker on his quest for power. The story begins with a place called the Abyss, created by a powerful force called mana. The Abyss connects the demon world to the human world. The stronger the connection, the more dangerous creatures appear. Next, we meet an old soldier holding a special relic. He pulls out a huge sword to fight off the monsters attacking his town and hurting people. Then, we're introduced to Noel, who is worried about his grandfather. His grandfather told Noel to stay safe inside a shelter, but Noel asks if he'll be okay. His grandfather promises to hold off the monsters until help arrives from the Empire. But Noel knows no help is coming. As Noel begins to cry, his grandfather reassures him not to lose hope. He calls himself Overdeath and vows to protect Noel with his life. Then he leaves to fight. Outside, Overdeath battles the monsters with all his experience, while inside, Noel is scared for him. Suddenly, Noel hears a loud explosion that destroys the whole town. He steps outside and sees his grandfather lying injured, barely alive. Noel is heartbroken. With his last words, his grandfather tells him that seekers like him are always close to the god of death. He asks Noel if he still wants to be a seeker. With tears in his eyes, Noel agrees and promises to become the strongest seeker ever. His grandfather smiles, says he loves him, and passes away. Noel then tells us his grandfather's name was Brandon Stolen, the greatest seeker known as Overdeath. 2 years after his grandfather's death, we see Noel with his team ready to fight more monsters. His team includes 2 boys named Lloyd and Walter and a girl named Tanya. Tanya uses her staff to fire a magic beam, while Lloyd and Walter slice the beasts in half. We learn that Noel has the weakest support role called the Talker. We're then told about a weak type of monster called the Lesser Vampire. It can't use magic, but the queen can make more in a short time. Tanya also explains that the monsters won't die unless their heads are chopped off. As Noel and his team move forward, Walter suggests they should go after the main body instead of fighting all the smaller ones. But Noel disagrees, saying it would be too hard for their C-rank team. He explains that if they take out the smaller ones first, they'll have a better chance of winning. Walter salutes Noel and agrees, praising his skills as a great talker. However, Noel feels sad because his role as a support character has the weakest fighting ability. Noel senses a monster nearby and quickly warns everyone to get down. But the beast attacks first, releasing poisonous gas. Noel's team tries to help him, but Tanya is suddenly attacked. Without Noel's buffs, Lloyd and Walter struggle to fight at their best, because Noel is still suffering from the gas. Walter yells for Noel to buff them. As Noel remembers his grandfather's death, he shouts at the beast and shoots his gun, while drinking a tonic to remove the poison. His team is shocked by his quick action. Noel faces the beast, ready to show how a talker fights. First, he activates his tactician skill, giving his teammates 25% more power with mana. He orders the boys to step back, and they dodge the queen beast's attack. Then, Noel uses his battle voice, giving everyone a 25% boost in mana and stamina. With this, Walter and Lloyd attack the beast. Sensing more monsters above, Noel buffs Tanya with peer support, helping her target the enemy's mind. He sets a timer and instructs Tanya to keep the barrier up while Lloyd and Walter keep dodging and attacking. Noel then stuns the beast with his words, causing them to fall to the ground. He uses his anti-beast weapon, creating an ice crystal, but one of the beasts escapes and rushes toward him. Noel realizes he only has 1 bullet left, and there are just 23 seconds until his buffs run out. He commands Lloyd and Walter to attack. Just as the beast gets close to Noel, Lloyd and Walter combine their strength and chop off the queen beast's head. The team is relieved, but then they're shocked to see Noel caught in the beast's attack. However, they soon notice the beast froze just an inch away from his stomach, then fell to the ground dead. Noel tells everyone the battle is over, but his team calls him reckless. Noel smiles and we flash back to his past where he's crying about having the weakest skill. His grandfather encourages him, promising to help him become the strongest seeker in the world. They all step out of the dungeon, and Noel looks at the sky, vowing to become the strongest seeker, even with his weakest skill. Next, we see the giant capital city called Velnant Empire. This empire is more affected by the Abyss than most places. They've developed magical technology by studying the beasts. Those who brave the Abyss and defeat the monsters become heroes in the eyes of the people. We then find Noel and his team celebrating with a feast after their successful mission. We briefly meet each character: Tanya, the healer Walter, the warrior and Lloyd, the swordsman and their leader. Walter notices Noel's sad face and asks why he looks so down. He reminds Noel that it's not good to focus too much on money, just like his grandfather once told him. This brings back a memory of Noel's grandfather, who explained the importance of money and how it would help him become a great seeker. Noel responds, saying he's not sad, and calls Walter pathetic, which makes Walter angry. He accuses Noel of being a money seeker, which starts to hurt their team's reputation. This sparks a fight between Walter and Noel. Lloyd steps in to stop them, while Tanya calls them idiots. However, Lloyd gently tells her that both of them are precious comrades. Next, we see the team sitting in a park, splitting their money. After paying for their operational costs, they each get 250,000 fills, which offends Tanya, but Lloyd reassures her that they'll have a big mission next time and earn more. Noel adds that these types of tasks are rare and usually handled by the clans. He then asks Lloyd how much money their party has saved up. Lloyd replies they have about 12.8 million fills. Noel suggests they use that amount to form a clan, which shocks everyone. Lloyd reminds Noel that they need 20 million fills to create a clan in the city. Noel offers to contribute the remaining amount to help establish it. He explains that the city wants seekers to be attractive, young, and strong, which they already are. If they get a contract with the company, they can earn a sponsorship fee. Walter agrees with Noel's idea of building a clan in the city. Noel then asks Lloyd, as the leader, for his opinion and tells him he will quit the party and need his share back if they disagree. Lloyd thinks for a moment and agrees to create the clan, which surprises Tanya. He then asks Noel to discuss it further over lunch the day after tomorrow. Walter and Noel agree and head home. But before Noel leaves, Tanya stops him. After looking at him for a while, she wishes him a good rest. The next day, Walter rushes into Noel's room and breaks the news Lloyd and Tanya have betrayed them. They left the city with all their collected money. Noel studies the letter closely, confirming the handwriting. It's clear Lloyd stole 12 million fil from their party fund. Suddenly, Noel starts laughing and raging Walter, who calls him an idiot for finding humor in this mess. Still calm, Noel asks where Walter found the letter. Walter explains the innkeeper gave it to him, saying it was left in Layad's room. He also mentions that Lloyd and Tanya left the city at 8 p.m., just before the gates closed. Still angry, Walter asks Noel what they should do next. Noel suggests they check the city gate logs and catch them on horseback. Walter agrees and urges him to hurry, but Noel refuses. Grinning slyly, he says running away is a clear betrayal, just catching them won't solve the problem. He then challenges Walter, asking if he's sure he can take down Lloyd and Tanya. Walter insists he can with Noel's help, but Noel points out that even if they win, they still won't recover the stolen money. Frustrated, Walter demands to know their next move. With a wicked glint, Noel declares that Lloyd and Tanya will pay 1,000 times over. Outside an orcs club, Noel pauses, telling Walter he may be dumb, but he's not a bad soldier. Then they walk in. Noel boldly announces to the hunters present that Lloyd and Tanya, two of his party members, have stolen their party's funds. He offers a reward minus 2 million fil to anyone who brings them back alive. Walter, shocked, asks why Noel would tell everyone. Noel smirks, explaining that casting a wide net is the fastest way to find them. Noel then asks the crowd who's interested. A group called Lightning Bite steps up to take the job. Noel promises to pay the 2 million fil once they return. The leader of Lightning Bite asks if there are any leads, and Noel reveals that Lloyd and Tanya left just before the gates shut. With that, Lightning Bite and several other hunters rush out to begin the chase. As the club empties, a peculiar-looking hunter approaches Noel, asking for a private word. Outside, the hunter claims he saw two people resembling Lloyd and Tanya the previous night, but demands 2 million fil in exchange for their location. Unfazed, Noel counters with 1 million fil, arguing that since his team can't handle both of them, the lead alone is worth that much. The hunter haggles for 1.5 million, but Noel holds firm. After a tense negotiation, the hunter finally kneels and accepts the 1 million fil. The hunter reveals that Noel's teammates passed him on Varley Road, just outside the south gate, likely heading toward Carnot Village. Pleased, Noel tells Walter to go with the other hunters, promising to follow later. Walter, curious, asks about Noel's small task, but Noel cryptically promises to explain later. The scene shifts to the city gate, where Noel meets Walter, ready to depart. As they prepare to leave, Walter hesitates, asking if Noel is truly ready to fight their former teammates. Coldly, Noel assures him that not only is he prepared to fight them, but he's also willing to kill them without hesitation. Outraged, Walter snaps, reminding him that Lloyd and Tanya were once their comrades. Unfazed, Noel replies that trust should never be given lightly. With that, they mount their horses and set off. The scene shifts to a small village where Lloyd and Tanya are resting for the night. Tanya, uneasy, voices her concern, but Lloyd reassures her. He confidently says that Noel won't bother coming after them, knowing he can't recover the stolen money. But their confidence is shattered when they suddenly hear Noel's voice, catching them off guard. Before they can react, Noel casts a spell that freezes both Lloyd and Tanya in place. Walter grabs Lloyd by the collar, ready to punch him, but Noel intervenes. Calmly, he demands an explanation for the stolen funds. Trembling, Lloyd admits he used the money to pay off his debt. Unfazed, Noel accuses him of gambling, taking loans, and using their party's funds to cover his losses. Desperate, Lloyd shouts that the pressure of leadership forced him into it, blaming Noel and Walter for pushing him into a position of power and then trying to control him. Noel's eyes narrow as he viciously kicks Lloyd in the face, sending him to the ground. With his foot on Lloyd's stomach, Noel sneers, "You wanted to be the leader? Now you'll face the consequences." Without hesitation, he savagely kicks Lloyd again and again, berating him for squandering their money, leaving Lloyd bloodied and struggling to breathe. Tanya steps forward, begging Noel to stop. But without a moment's pause, Noel coldly replies, "I believe in equality. Being a woman doesn't make you any different," his voice icy. He makes it clear he won't show mercy to anyone. Noel casts a truth proclamation spell on Tanya, forcing her to confess. Under the spell's influence, she admits that both she and Lade gambled away the party's money, putting the blame entirely on Liyad. As the spell fades, Tanya angrily rebukes Noel for using a mind control spell for personal gain. Unbothered, Noel smirks, reminding her that the spell is illegal except when used to extract criminal confessions. Sarcastically, he claps and congratulates them, announcing they're both in for 10 years of hard labor for embezzlement. Just then, the strange hunter steps forward, impatiently demanding his payment. Noel assures him the payment is coming, but the hunter, distrustful, grabs Noel's arm, accusing him of attempting to scam him. In a quick move, Noel slams the hunter to the ground, warning him to be patient. As the hunter rises, drawing his sword in fury, Noel swiftly punches him in the stomach, causing him to collapse once again. Noel reflects on a lesson from his grandfather, a technique that momentarily paralyzes the heart muscles, causing even the mightiest warrior to faint with a single blow. His grandfather had said this skill would be invaluable as a strategist. Moments later, a carriage pulls up and a man steps out. Everyone freezes, recognizing him as Finocchio Barzini, a notorious slave trader and the young leader of the Barzini crime family, the largest mob in the capital. With a dramatic flourish, Finocchio greets Noel, calling him darling, known as the Mad Clown. Finocchio's flamboyant style is just as infamous as his ruthless reputation. Walter, still confused, turns to Noel, asking if this was the small work he had mentioned earlier. Noel nods, explaining that since Leia and Tanya no longer have any money, he decided to sell them as slaves to Finocchio. It's the fastest way to recover their losses. Shocked, Tanya protests, but Noel coldly reminds her that the alternative is 10 years of grueling labor in the mines, making slavery the better option. Finocchio offers Noel 6 million fil for the pair, but Noel refuses. Finocchio warns that paying too much for slaves would attract unwanted attention from the church, which is bad for business. Unimpressed, Noel demands 11 million fil, and each time Finocchio refuses, Noel raises the price by another million. The negotiation intensifies until Noel settles at 15 million fil. Noel then proposes a clever scheme. He'll spread a rumor that Finocchio bought the slaves for 30 million fil, which would raise their market value, allowing Finocchio to make another 15 million fil from reselling them. Amused by the clever offer, Finocchio agrees. Impressed by Noel's sharp wit, he even invites Noel to join the Barzini family as a leader. Finocchio then saunters over to the odd hunter, glaring menacingly. If you so much as breathe a word of this conversation, Finocchio growls, you and your entire family will be pig-feet terrified. The hunter frantically nods before fainting. Satisfied, Finocchio hands Noel a down payment, sealing the deal. As Finocchio's guards drag Leia away, Tanya screams, calling out to Walter. Desperate, she accuses him of abandoning her, claiming he always said he loved her, but now when she needs him, he's useless. Her pleas fall on deaf ears as she too is dragged off by Finocchio's men. Before leaving, Finocchio gives Noel a flamboyant goodbye kiss on the cheek, his sinister grin lingering. Noel watches them leave, then tosses the weird hunter his payment. The hunter, still shaken, mutters that Noel is a heartless demon before disappearing into the night. Walter, visibly disturbed by everything, stands beside Noel. As they walk away, Noel coldly declares, I'll build that reputation. One day, I'll be the strongest in the world. The scene shifts to the city gate, where Walter stands with his luggage. Noel approaches and hands him a drink. Walter, his face full of regret, admits that he's done with the life of a seeker. Disheartened by what's happened, he's decided to leave it all behind and live a simpler life. Noel tries to convince him to stay and form a new party, but Walter refuses. Resigned, Noel wishes him luck and walks away. As Walter watches Noel go, he takes a sip from the bottle, and a tear silently rolls down his cheek. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Noel stumbles upon a snake's shed skin. Studying it, he reflects on how snakes shed their old scales to grow tougher ones. A determined glint flashes in his eyes as he resolves to rebuild Blue Beyond stronger than ever. With renewed resolve, Noel moves forward, ready for the next chapter. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. If you enjoyed the journey, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic content. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't miss out on the next video. There's always more fun, surprises, and challenges ahead. Until next time, stay awesome and keep exploring.